And so is this the new album, which is called Black Rainbows, and it's really, really amazing. I've listened to it a couple of times, and as I said to you backstage, I kind of feel like, there's so much in there, and the story of where it comes from is, and where each of the songs come from is sort of so intricate as well. So it's like a very complex album. Was this you sort of saying, right, this is absolutely what I want to do, and I'm going to take some chances? And
I think I started making this record by accident. It was in 2017, and I was on tour, and I was in Chicago, and I'd remembered, there's this brilliant visual artist that I wanted to meet, and of course, me being me, I'd forgotten to tell anybody. So it was a day before. It was a day we were playing that we flew in, and I said, I really wanted to meet Theaster Gates. Is this amazing artist, a visual artist, contemporary artist, this black man. I want to meet him. And somehow they got him to come to the show. I met him afterwards. And he has saved this building in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, which I don't know how much you know about the south side, but it's, they call these areas sort of underserved communities now, but I guess nobody says poor. It's like, is poor un-PC? I don't know. But this is what I saw. People walking around the streets, people maybe pushing a shopping trolley, people with their tops off at like 7 a.m, running around, gunshots, nowhere to buy any food that's edible, massive poverty, poor housing, mental health stuff. This is, you just, as you move around, I go to lots of places, like that's just like moving around the streets. But then in the middle of it is this old savings and loans bank that was due to be destroyed by the city because the money ran out for it. And this artist, Theaster Gates, decided to save the bank and fill it with art and all these art archives. So you've got the south side as it is, then you walk into this bank and it's this amazing kind of cathedral to art, to black art, paintings on the walls and sculptures. And then it's got all the books that were ever submitted to the Johnson Publishing Company, who did Ebony magazine and Jet magazine. Ebony was like Life magazine for black people in America. And so sort of glamorous and gorgeous. And, so all these amazing books on everything from dance, mask, architecture, autobiographies, recipe books, yearbooks, all sorts of stuff. And then it's got all of Frankie Knuckles' archive in there. So legendary house DJ Frankie Knuckles. And then it's got these difficult and problematic objects from America's past, kind of, derogatory racist objects, postcards and cartoons and newspapers and objects for the home, mammy jars, trinkets, kind of negrobilia it's been called. So I just went to this building because I was interested in it. Opened loads of books, opened loads of drawers, unwrapped things, pulled out sheet music, pulled out little dolls from the 1850s, just all sorts of stuff. And then when I left, I just found that I couldn't stop thinking about it. There's all these stories, and some of them were stories that had been silenced or erased. Some of them were unfinished because I couldn't find anything more about them. And I just found myself writing, like scratching poems or songs. And it ended up turning into this album, Black Rainbows, which I thought was a side project. So I thought, well, it can be just as weird, as absolutely weird as I want it to be. So that's how it came out, It's like, I'm going to write a punk song about a beauty queen from the 50s. I'm going to write a 10-minute song about the rock churches of Lalibela in Ethiopia. Yeah. Because I thought no one's expecting it to be, put your records on, because I was like, I'm not even going to put my name on it. That's how I thought.
Right.
And then in the end, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary in that, and the stories behind. You can go online and I'm not going to make you tell all the stories behind the songs now, but you can find all the stories behind the songs and the objects that influence them. But I think just to hear something with that many influences and that kind of eclectic, there's not many albums you just feel like, this is an artist who's just gone, I'm going to explore everything that I possibly can. It's so fascinating to listen to. So
I love the idea that you could bring all your interests into the thing you make, and it's sort of taken me ages to work that out, and it was really nice to write an album that wasn't just, these are my thoughts and experiences, these are things I've been through, this is what I'm reflecting on, but more to be, all this stuff is coming into my brain and I can't get to sleep, and it's the first thing I think about when I wake up, and it can turn into songs. I think we're all basically the same and we all want the same things. And so there's a universality in all of these stories Whereas I think before I would think, oh, will anyone get this if it's not kind of a love song that lasts 3 minutes, you know, which is really limiting, I think, to the things you can make.
Yeah. But isn't that great? You know, it's great to be maturing as a person and as an artist. Not that, you know, I think you were pretty fully formed as you started and pretty amazing as you started. But it's, you know, and also like with music, it's quite hard, isn't it, to be allowed to keep going, because, you know, it's a kind of industry that's, you know, they're interested in youth, and as certainly, I think, as women get older, I think it's hard. It's fair to say it's hard for women to stay within that industry and not be kind of shunted out.
Absolutely. I mean, there's always going to be someone sort of prettier and younger who's willing to wear less clothes and do a more aggressive dance routine.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to make that your thing, you have to be willing to realise that you've got 18 months or you've got like 4 years or whatever. But I think for other people who want to explore other avenues, you know, it's great to feel you can do that, give yourself permission to do that. And I think the more people that do it, the more space you can make for everyone.
Yeah. And how does it work now? Because, you know, I think with music, is it, you know, it's obviously changed so much. So I can just download your album, like, for free. Mm-hmm. And so it's not going out and buying it.
Yeah.
Is that like totally changed?
Yeah, it's completely changed music. Like I always say to people, with my first record, if you want to hear it, you had to hope it was on the radio.
Yeah.
Or you had to go to a shop and buy a piece of plastic that it was burned onto. And these days, music is more like a sort of just gas that fills the air, and it is free. And I think it is definitely tricky for artists. Obviously, you can tour, that makes you money. But most of the artists now, you know, the young 20-year-olds, the reason everyone's so beautiful is because they're making their money from like the trainer sponsorship or the perfume spin-off or like the collab with the handbag people. So that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
We'll just get more and more sort of good-looking people who do sponsorship things. I mean, obviously they're really talented as well, but they have to have that thing. They have to be able to monetize the coolness that comes from the music, which, you know, I think if you're just a bit shy or not very good-looking, you're kind of getting frozen out of music, which I think is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. Do you think AI could write a Corinne Bailey Rae song? I don't know if it could write the album you've just done.
I mean, an AI could write a song that sounds like another song.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. That's just an algorithm, but I think there's always room for strange and weird, independent, creative human thought, you know, and that's the thing I'm most interested in music.
Yeah.